What's up YouTube? In this video I'm going to show you how to trench. Everything you need to know about buying meme coins, trading meme coins from beginner to advanced. I'm currently live streaming right now. So if you have questions, queries, anything, you can let me know. I'm 11 days through trenching meme coins at the moment. So I have a lot of time and experience in particular with meme coins and meme coins trading. I have made a lot of money on this channel. In fact, if you go over to my YouTube channel, and if you're new here, you look at my channel, you'll see videos where live I turned one Solana into over $60,000. You'll see videos where we've made over $1 million trading. In fact, some of these ones is over $2.1 million as well on all chains, not just Solana, but even on things like the Ton chain. Now, one thing I want to show you is how to get started off with trading meme coins. Now, number one, link in the description. You need two tools. You need number one, Bullex. This is a trading dashboard. Some people use Photon. I personally like to use Bullex. It gives me an overall screen on how to trade tokens. It gives me a whole platform where I can look, I can see what I want to buy, what I want to trade. It's a lot faster than trading on the bot. I see things like charts, and I'm going to go through every little thing step by step and the stuff that you need. At the top, I have a faster way of trading. This is like a sniper way of trading. You'll need this later as well. So you'll also find in the description a link for Nova Trade. This is the fastest way to trade meme coins. It links with Bullex. I use both. So I trade on here if I'm trading long term, if I'm trading like on a chill vibe. Here is when I'm trying to get in and out as fast as possible. I'll give you the settings for these as well. So when you look at Bullex, there's a lot of things that most people don't realize, right? Number one is you can trade on Tron and Solana. At the top, you're going to see a list of your positions. You can see here, you can have the charts on, the charts off. Over here, you can actually change your settings. So if you click the settings icon, you can see you can set your presets. Now, these are the presets that I have. My slippage, I have about 33%. This makes sure that I get in and out. MEV, I have it enabled, so that means I don't get priced out of positions. If I buy in, somebody's not going to buy before me and set my price crazy high. If it does that, it won't enter the position. Bribe, I have at 0.01 as well. So these are mine, very simple, right? Sell, I have mine double the amount because the only time when I'm going to be selling is either when I'm in a loss, I need to get out my position, or when I'm in a profit and the profit doesn't really matter. So I have it double the amount of my my buy settings. You can also use presets at the bottom where you can change the specific presets. So you have different modes. Maybe you have a mode where you want to snipe. Maybe you have a mode where you want to change, where you have like a faster trading mode. Maybe you even have a low fee mode where you're not bothered if your transactions don't get through. Next, you have three key sections. You have new creations, about to graduate, and graduated. This is where you're going to spend 99% of your time. The reason for this is because this shows the new creations of tokens, tokens that are about to graduate, which means they're about to hit radium, and then tokens that are graduated. New creations is the most riskiest section ever. So what I like to do is I like to use some filters. Now remove my I'll move myself over just a little bit. I'll put myself in the middle. Then you'll see on the right hand side, you have new creations filter. Over here, the only thing I really like to do, just to keep it simple, is I'll put the max token age at about 200 minutes because I'm looking for early tokens. I'll tell you about the strategy in a moment. I'll put the volume at 5,000 over here. And then the dev, I only want the dev holding a maximum of 1%. Right? Now you can change these however you want. Remember, the less variables you put in here, the less features, the more tokens you're going to see. The more you dial in, the more you're going to see. So, if you really want to start getting specific, you can start creating your own sniping strategies over time. But this is the base that I like to start. And the reason is because I want to see a little bit of volume. I want to see like a young token, like less than 200 minutes old. And sometimes I even put things like 10,000 market cap over here as well, just so I see tokens which are above 10,000, because most tokens don't even make it above 10k market cap. If I click apply, you'll see it will filter through all the tokens over here. It will give me all options of above 10k market cap. You can also see these icons. These icons, see if I can zoom in here. It's about as best we're going to get. Here we go. You can see it says a insider icon over here, the red, these are the insiders. These are the earliest people that get into the token. You see it has the chef hat, that's the dev. The developer who made the token has 0%. And you see a red icon here, they're the snipers. So it has 14 snipers involved. Then you see the volume, 9,000 on the right hand side. Market cap at 11,000 as well. Then you also see the social media links where you can click on any of these and it's going to open up the social media for that specific token at the top. Now, if we zoom out, and I think I'll go into a new page just so it don't glitch out the page. What you'll see is when you zoom out, you have a full scale picture. You can see everything in one page without having to do too much. I'll move myself back over now. You'll see that in one like swoop, in one vision, that's why they call it pump vision, you can see the dev holding percentage, the insiders, and you can even see like the social medias, the market cap, the volume of the token. So without you having to click in too much, right, you can easily see everything. You can easily see everything that you need to see. Meaning you can start to develop a system. You can start to develop a way of looking at things which is different to the normal person, right? I can look here and I can say, right, I want to buy this token because it's got no dev, it's got 1% insiders, so it's green, it's only got 8 snipers, insiders only 32%. I can look at this, I know I'm not going to get rugged necessarily, right, because it doesn't have many insiders, right, it doesn't have a dev. So there's less chance of me getting rugged. Does that make it 100% this is going to the moon? Well, obviously not, it could still go to 0. But it increases my chances of having success, right? Then, we'll get into more due diligence factors later. Continuing on the Bullex Neo and how everything looks, you now have a decent understanding. Then you can go and filter out these sections. These next 2 sections, I have actually started to leave them just open, right? Because I want to know every token that's bonding. It doesn't matter even if it's a scam. And I also want to know every token that's graduated, because when we're in the game, when we're going 24/7, we need to be able to see every single token which has graduated, because it allows us to jump from one token. I can trade this, I can hop back over to Bullex while I'm in the zone, and then I can hop straight back into another token and start scanning. I can open up all of these in new tabs, the ones which I think look decent, and they have no dev, small amount of insiders, and a very few amount of snipers. I can go through all of them. Remember on the corner I can also see the market cap, so if the token's at 5k market cap, I'm not going to be interested in investing in it. What I want to see a lot of times is volume and a decent sized market cap. You can see that this token has $5 million of volume, but it has 6k market cap, so it doesn't really add up. If you see a balanced token, for example, right now, in fact, if you look at Keys, the token which we was looking at earlier, which is now at 300k, you can see that it has volume and it also has a strong market cap, right? You can see now it's starting to take legs up. In fact, actually, while it's live, let's have a look at it. Let's see what type of token it is, right? So now you can start to do due diligence on the token, and you can say, right, okay, token's pumping, it looks all right. What are the due diligence checklists that we need to go? So due diligence checklist to actually look into investing into these tokens is, number 1, okay, is the social media a scam? Is it something which has been copied from another person's post? So what you do is you go through the Twitter. I personally like to scroll to the bottom. If it's only got 5 or 6 posts, this means all they've done is try to fill the feed. So this is one red flag. It's not the end of the project, but it is a red flag because we don't have a lot of Twitter history, right? Number 2, I'll then go through and I'll look at who is following the token, right? Who are they following and why are they following? Is there a dev or a specific developer that is following them and they are following the token back? Okay, as you can see, yes, these are following the guys back. So we can presume that this is the dev, right? Then I'll flick back to the token. I'll look at the developer over here and I'll see that the developer's only made 1 token. Now, as we go through more due diligence factors, sometimes the token might already be going crazy. Right now, this one's not doing too much. But sometimes the token starts going crazy. So a lot of times, especially when I'm trenching, I'm in the zone, I'm buying and selling all these tokens, I'll buy a small amount, okay, of a token, and I'll go ahead and go over and start doing my due diligence, right? That allows me to be able to see both sides of the token, okay? Now, while I'm also doing that, another area of confluence I like to use while looking at the social media, looking at the narrative, is I like to use an app that you can download in the description completely for free, and it's called Focane. Now what Focane does is it gives you these tabs on the top corner. Now these tabs in the top corner is a faster way of searching the contract and also seeing if they've paid for deck screener advertising, and it will load in the top right hand corner. Whenever a token pays for deck screener advertising, it moons. So you can be in a token down here. The dev might say, okay, I'm looking to pay for DEX, right? As soon as that DEX is paid, because people have more confidence in the token, it starts to moon and it starts to go a lot higher. Usually you get 50-60% pumps on a DEX screener paid option. Now, what I like to do is I like to use something called the Fibonacci. Okay, during the stage where I'll do my due diligence, a lot of times I'm either buying if there's momentum, or if there's a dip and I'm waiting, I'll pull out the Fibonacci. And as you can see, it always respects this as much as it can. Does this mean that it can't break down and just go straight through it? No, if it's a rug, it's a rug. But these, on average, give you good areas to buy the dip, right? And I'll show you that in a long-term token and how the Fibonacci's play out. But the 0.5 fib, which is 50% retracement, and the 0.618 fib always give very good levels where the token tends to magnetize towards it and just respect those areas. If, right, you get rejected from the Fibonacci and we continue a downtrend, normally that's the end of the lifespan of the token. But you're not losing a lot of money if I'm getting in over here, right? If I'm getting in at 0.5, 0.618, I'm not losing a lot. If the token comes up, retests, and continues a downtrend, I'm losing 30%. Whereas if I brought here on this first retest, right, and I sold down here, I'll be losing 50%. Now, as you can see, this token came down, broke, retested the fib, stayed in this exact range, and then it started to bounce out and continue its run. So the levels that I like to use on the fib, I'll tell you the reason why I use the fib as well in a second, but I go over to style. I'll get rid of everything apart from the 0.618, 2.618, 4.236, 0.5, 1.618, and the 3.618. This allows me to have my key levels for pullbacks, right, where we're going to bounce from, and it also allows me to have my key take profit areas as well. And these take profit areas, they're very strong, right? And it allows me to obviously make sure that I'm not blowing too much Solana on top blasts and stuff like that. So now we have this. One thing I also like to do is get rid of the background. So if you go to, let's say, visibility, you scroll, styles, you scroll down, you see background. Sometimes you'll probably look like this. I take it off as well just to keep it simple, okay? And the reason why I do this is because when we first look at a chart that's brand new, we have limited information. So while we're going through due diligence, while we're looking at who the founder is, while we're looking at the Twitter, while we're searching the contract address, okay, while we're looking at top holders and bundles, which is one thing I'm going to show you in a minute, we have limited amount of information. So if I'm looking to calculate an entry while all of this is happening, instead of just blasting it and moving on, because a lot of times if you keep doing that, you run out of Solana, believe me, I know that firsthand, right? You need that for levels to go through, right? Now, another thing you can check is top traders, holders, history, positions, your own orders, and trades, right? These are all options that you get at the bottom of the screen. What I like to do is I like to filter these through two things. Through the dev, for example, to see if he's trading the token, right? Through smart wallets to see how much smart money is in, and also through following to see what smart wallets I also follow that are in as well. I like to always have the bottom of my, okay, I don't really switch the filters unless like I'm looking for something specific, right? Then I will put InstaTrade on. This is the button right here. I've had a lot of people ask me where the InstaTrade button is, right here. This allows me to get in and get out at a click of a button. Instead of having to type in like 5 and then enter, I can simply just go here and click. And if I click settings, right, I can change my slippage at a click of a button directly from here. I can also change my wallet, or I can go, for example, to settings over here, and I can also change my quick buy presets and settings, and I can select how much I want to quick buy here, and also my buttons as well for quick buy buttons too, right? This is the fastest way to trade. So now I would have 3 things. I have a quick chart. For example, once we started to come back into the range of 267, I could have rebought in as we started to break out. That trade there would have been a nice 50%. 50% trade right here. Buy and sell it as quick as you want on Neo, or you could have done it on InstaTrade, right? The next thing is bundles, right? So we're starting to build a little strategy here, right? And you'll see the way we do the routine in a second. Maybe I'll do some live trades. But what you see is a nice strategy, but what you don't see is the activity of the holders. Now, when a token launches, obviously the dev needs to launch a token. So you have a developer here, and he's like, right, I have a great idea. I want to launch a token, right? So the great light bulb option. It's a great light bulb. I want to launch a token, right? So he goes to launch a token, but he's also like, hold on a sec. I also want to make money. So you want to know whether the token that the dev is launching, he actually sold, as you see his 2 buttons here, dev bought, DB, dev sold, DS, whether he actually decided to buy the token and sell it, or whether he brought all of these tokens, all of these supply on a different wallet. So one tool I like to use is called a bundle checker, right? Now, a lot of people don't actually know how to use a bundle checker, right? But in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how, because there's a big discrepancy. Like if you look on Twitter right now, you'll see people like, oh, this token's bundled and don't get in. And then you'll still see the token pump. You'll still see it go to the moon. So what I like to do is I'll go into the token, I'll copy the address. So copy the address as this button up here. Then I'll paste it and I'll look at the bundle checker. Now, the bundle checker gives me multiple options. You have to know what these terms are to make money. It says total bundles. These are total amounts of wallets. 1 is holding, and it was 3 total. So 2 have sold. The developer, most likely, right? Total amount spent was 100 Solana. Currently hold, so it's 30%. 30% is an okay range. You want to be less than 30%, especially if it's a meme coin. And if it's a big project, and I'll show you about altcoins and how their tokenomics look, it can be a lot higher, right? Then you can see token created, current tokens held, and also bundle slots as well. The amount of tokens that they bought, the amount of supply that they had, the amount of Solana that they spent, okay, and the holding amount. Over time, as the token develops, you can refresh this, okay, and it will refresh the amount. So while I'm trading, I'll come back and I'll refresh the bundles, because sometimes, right, more times than others, you'll see a token go all the way down and then all the way up. For example, this is one of the tokens which I'm currently up right now. Okay, you'll see is this Hana coin, right? Now with this Hana coin, it went all the way down to like 20K. So this range here is normally when all the people who got in all the way down here finally decide to sell, and when there's no bundles left, most of the tokens are out, then we have an organic chart start to build and we start to rise up, okay? As you can see, it also respects the key fib levels, right, as well. Right from the beginning, right from when we only had this information. Very interesting. So that's what I do. I'd buy the tokens, I'll go through, I run a due diligence, right? They're the only tools I use. I don't really use them crazy, like loads and loads of too many indicators, because at the end of the day, it's a very short chart. So as long as you know that the dev's not holding too many tokens, it's a pure chart, nobody's going to just randomly dump on you. The bundles are kind of clean, okay? And then you have a good amount of due diligence on the project being legit. it allows me to create an educated bet, because that's all it is, just an educated decision on where I think the token is going. Then we have to discuss the different types of projects, because when you look on NeoVision, you're going to have a ton of different types of projects that you're going to see. You're going to have projects that might be tech projects. You're going to have projects that might just be pure meme coins. Pump Fund isn't what it used to be. Pump Fund just used to be a complete degenerate platform. Now it's starting to come to some type of legitimate platform for buying and selling tokens. I'm going to check upon one of my live positions here and maybe decide when to take profit. So if we have a look at the Fibonacci over here, I got in at 5.2 mil. Also, you can see we put in a lower high and we're starting to break the fib. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out some of my position. I'm going to take out 50% here. Okay. And now you can see we have 5 SOL remaining, so it's about $1,000. If we break lower than that, I can exit the position. And then what I can do is if we put a line here, which we're already bounced off. We bounced off this line. If I remove the wallets, and I'll explain what these tracked wallets are shortly. I'll give you some wallets. As you've seen here, we broke up past there. We came down, retested, we broke below. We've now broke above it again, and now we're retesting it again. So buyers are getting weaker and weaker and weaker, while sellers are coming in and the sellers are getting stronger and stronger. So until you have some people that have completely exited their position, I'll show you a visual example, like a literal example of this. Okay, this chart's going to struggle to pump. Okay, does that mean that the chart's over? Does that mean it's going to zero? Does it mean you should sell the positions? No, but that's just the entry of the chart. And when I'm in a position from here, and I've made all of this money going all the way up here, I've realized a lot of my gains. And plus, because of how fast we can trade on BullX, we easily have an advantage to come back on the chart and extract more money from that chart. Okay, so if we go over here and let's say we clear up the chart a little bit, one thing I want to show you is a visual example of how this chart moves. So I'll clear up the chart, give you a complete clear chart, and then I'm going to show you the tracked wallets. Now I track wallets, and I like to track wallets because it allows me to have confluence and it shows me a different way of seeing the charts. Social media now, especially in the markets, it's no longer even like Twitter and Instagram. In crypto, it's on-chain. Like social media is on-chain. Like when we see people like Frank Degods get in, it's like, yo, Frank Degods just brought this. When we see Orangey get in, everyone's like, yo, Orangey just got in. Orangey just got in, right? So we see on-chain, right? People manage to like grow a social media on-chain presence, okay? So what I'm going to do as well is one of my other positions, I'm going to move back them. And I'll tell you why now, because it's a narrative play. Okay, we'll come back to Sora and we'll have a look at Sora as well. So as you can see, the red markers, when we're speaking about sellers, these exact people who brought in all in a big bunch down here are the ones who are bringing down this chart, right? And they have to. People have to sell, because otherwise if they held it, there'd be too much supply. They'd own too much supply. So they have to distribute it to new holders, right? New people have to come in, and if they don't come in, the chart goes down and the chart goes to zero. That's why I see so many rugs on chain. Now, because these guys have came in, new people purchase the supply, it now bids the chart up until you see at the next level, people either cashing on the way up or cashing on the way down. And not everybody you'll be able to see. Some things are bots, some things are market makers, etc. Right? But as you see, this exact level where we're speaking about where we got to, where I reduced my risk slightly, is the same level that we bounce on. Right? This exact level right here. Okay? Now, what we want to do is figure out how we extract the most money from this chart, okay, and where exactly to add my positions to. So again, even as the chart develops, as we get more information, I can continue to use the Fibonacci retracement to see the exact levels where I could look for a potential bounce. There's two places where I like to use a fib. I'll use it from the complete bottom. You can use it from levels like this, or you can use it from levels like these. As you start to get more and more information, it will start to give you decent points and decent retracements to enter in from. If you're scalping, the scalp from the 50 retracement up to here would have been 23%. If you put $1,000 in, you'd made $230. And if you have a look at tracked wallets, you'll see Orangey actually made that exact trade. He bought the bottom over here for about 9.3K and sold all the way up for about $12,000. Right? So he made $3,000, the same amount of profit which I've made holding this chart. He's made it in that small amount of volatility. That's why trading is so powerful. If you can identify patterns and trade these patterns, you can compound it over hours and hours and hours and hours on like hypo, turbo, like turbo pilot. Okay. Now, the next thing that you want to do is you want to set up this Nova bot, right? Because there's two strategies. Remember, I have a strategy where most of the time I like to buy and hold. I even hold hundreds of thousands of dollars over tokens, like long term, locked away. And I use this as a launch pad. So I like to use BullX as a way of seeing new altcoins, potential altcoins, where I can acquire the supply and hold it long term. And that's how I personally like my money. Other times, there are people, especially with small amounts of Solana, who like to play the volatility. If you like to play the volatility like this, the fastest way to do so, if you want to snipe launches, trade fast, is a thing called Nova. Now, Nova, you'll find it in the description, have an application, a Chrome application, that once you download it, it's going to come up on your screen just like this. All you need to do is use the same wallet that you sign up to BullX with, the private key, import it straight into your BullX. You're going to be able to trade everything all on this platform. You're going to be able to trade as fast as you can. You're going to see all your trades in one specific platform. Me, I also actually just use two separate wallets, right? Just simply because I like to have a sniping, quick trading one. I like to have a smaller, slower trading portfolio as well. Now, that should give you an overview, right? You now understand BullX. You understand, okay, what am I seeing on BullX? You understand all the little nuances, and the this is actually quite a good one. Okay, and let's have a look. Wait, red, no meme. I've seen this actually. So you understand everything you need to see. You understand how to do your due diligence, the specifics that you want to look for. You understand about BullX. You understand about how to spot tokens. Now you need to understand about the theory of how this flow is going to work. So you have two main ways. You have your narratives and you have your betas. So for example, you just seen I traded the last token, I traded for like $50 profit, whatever, right? But that was a beta to this play. So this play was Sora, and when we got in around $5 million market cap, I think I got in at 2 and then I added to my position. Originally, there was no data on the chart. All you could see was a chart that was pumping with some wallets that I'm tracking that were actually buying. So what we did was we hopped over, we put the reason why I say we is because we're on stream right now. We put the search bar in and we can see all the people speaking about Quora and what it actually is. Then went over to Twitter, actually looked at the Twitter, hopped over onto Sora Labs and started to research the Sora Labs website, the roadmap, and the GitHub. GitHub's where a lot of people get stuck. One thing I like to use is a thing called Repo Checker or Repo Analyzer. Okay, and from Repo Analyzer, you can copy the repository library. You can hop into Repo Analyzer and you can paste it into here. And you'll see the repo and you'll see the repo analyzed. You can also see the top analyzed repositories. You see things like AOS as well. AOS actually was a very good example of making profit. If you look at the AOS trade, which now came down to about 40 million. We made over $10,000 on that specific trade. As you can see over here, 55 Solana. And we got in all the way at $3 million, okay? This took literally 2 days. 2 days to manage to capture this trade and make money from the volatility. Okay, you can see my buys over here. I got in over here, cashed out down here, and then ran up the chart, cashed out up here. Now we're back down to around like 40 million. So again, we can continue to trade this volatility. We can draw even more Fibonacci's. I love this extension. And we can see again, already we're at the 0.5. So it's another great trade to go ahead and take and buy the dip, right? So this exact flow, this exact system is something that we can potentially replicate and utilize, okay? And what you see is every single time we come down to this 50, boom, right? I wouldn't be surprised to see if, I don't know if this was the top. This one was actually a little bit low. We actually rejected from it. We came back inside and just went absolutely parabolic. Probably on some more great news and announcements, okay? So what we also have to understand is how Solana works. So the reason why so many projects rug, so many projects scam, is because money flows around the chain. So for example, once you see a big rise like this, and we'll clear out this chart now, I'll remove my trades. Once you see any big run, there's always going to be a pullback. And this is when most people say, oh, the project looks dead, this is all over, game over, blah, 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 it's going to zero, it's a scam, it's a rug pull. It's just because the price is down, right? Then when you see it goes up, everybody loves it, and then you see everyone that had conviction and bought in here, DCA out all the way down, and then again you see another push up, okay? Now sometimes projects go over here and they're finished, they never come back. Other times they do. But the thing is, if you're only right 30% of the time, and the projects are doing like 3x's and 4x's, you're going to make money more often than not. Okay, you're going to make a lot of money with size more often than not. Okay, so for example, that is an easy system to follow. It's an easy system to trade. It's a very simple one to replicate long term, right? The next question that people had, people asked me a lot of questions. One of them was how to actually create a portfolio. So what I like to do is I'll have a trenching wallet, this wallet being like 64 Solana. It's not a crazy amount of money. I actually think on this account I'm like net unprofitable. So I'm not even coming on here to say I'm a great, amazing trader, right? I like to use this wallet to fund building a longer term portfolio. The reason being is because when we look at the overall market, we actually look at where Solana is right now. Solana is at a position where we're probably going to bounce, right? In my opinion, actually, I think we're going to bounce far. I think we're going to go into a very, very short, very fast, very intense bull market where a lot of people are going to make a lot of money, And if we have a look over here, this chart is the line chart of Solana with a lovely, nice Fibonacci. I think that we're going to break here at about $200, $300, rise up to all-time high, finally surpass the all-time high that we set in 2021 of all dates. I understand most of the supply of Solana was actually in Sam Bankman's hands over here, right? A little bit of supply distribution, accumulation, come back, right? I think that we went up to all the way to $800. So this run over here, this run to $800 is going to bring a lot of opportunity to our BullX peers. And it's going to bring up a lot of the dead tokens that we see that have ran up to $20 million market cap, that have came all the way back down to like 5 million. And then when the market takes off, these tokens will go complete, absolute vertical. In fact, we've already seen it with AOS. Look how vertical this chart goes. I'll give you another great example of a great buy right now, in my opinion, is Send. When you look at Send, which I could speak about all day, every time when this token's pumped, it's done multiples of X's in a day. This was one day, one candle, it's up 14X. This is another day, one candle, I think it went up about 8X from the bottom. Yeah, 6.3X. Every single time this thing pumps, it goes absolutely vertical. Yet, there's so much time to accumulate while the price goes down. As you see, double bottom, high or low, right into the point where I think that this thing's going to do another absolute vertical pump. And this is only because of Solana and the fact that Solana is recovering in the market. A lot of these tokens are going to come back. So what I like to do is, personally, especially at this stage of the cycle, is I'll use this bag. Let's say this bag is my trench bag. So this is the trench bag. I'll put a decent amount of money in for me, whatever that amount of money is whatever that amount of money is. I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm here to give you my own opinion. Nothing on this channel is financial advice. I then use that money to put into smaller tokens, which may be moon bags. These are things where I make 100%, I take out 50%, I leave a moon bag. Or these may be positions with size that I have conviction with. I'll then keep this bag at, let's say, 50 Solana to 100 Solana. And anytime we go significantly above 100 Solana, I'll go and I'll buy dips. Because at any time, guys, especially when you're trenching and you're looking at buying all these tokens, you're doing all this stuff, you can get rugged, you can get scammed, things might not go right, things might not be perfect. So that means that we don't want to have too much exposure in the trench bag. We don't have too much money on the table, right? If I was sitting down and I was playing poker, I don't want to be having all my money on the table, right? I want to make sure that I'm only playing with money I can afford to lose. People say, oh, afford to lose, but genuinely money that I'm not fully at risk in terms of my stable, whatever I'm doing. I want to only play with fun money, okay? And the rest of it, I'll use it to build a portfolio. For example, right, somebody says, bro, are you still holding Flame? Right, because I purchased Flame on launch, right? The token went down like 50%. I think it's down over like 50%. I'll check on this position again. You can see now we're at the 50. Okay, if we break the 50, close the trade, is what it is. We move on, we have a lower high. Okay. If we look at the Flame position, we'll see the Flame position. Oh my God, it's down 62%. Guys, I've held positions which at one stage were like $500,000 in allocations and in altcoins. Went down, my tokens came out, they were $2,000. And then 6 months later, come back and they're $50,000. I only put $500 in. So sometimes, especially when there's two axes. So there's two ways people cheat a bag, right? These are the two ways. Number one, you're cheated with this axis, which is the price axis, right? The price can go up and down, and that affects people's emotions. It makes them buy, it makes them sell. Bro, are you still holding? Guys, are we holding? Nah, it's just, are you holding or not, right? Then there's another one. This axis, which nobody speaks about, right? It's interesting what somebody actually told me actually on stream, is time. You can also be cheated out of your bags by time. So price and time are going to affect your emotions a lot. But what you'll see is that because I have my trench bag and I also have my long-term portfolio, I might be down, let's say, I might be down $8,000. You look at it, like, oh my God. But I just showed you the position where we was up on AOs and we're up $10,000. So sometimes it's a thing of like, I use that trench bag to fund these positions so I can accumulate these tokens. And then when everything goes up, I'm talking when the whole portfolio is green, that's when I'm cashing out. For me, I don't really want to realize losses on tokens which have only just came out, which are probably going to be the next narrative in the future narrative of tokens. And the way I look at it is, if one of these tokens 10 or 20x, and I've got $13,000 in them, then we're talking about $250,000, $500,000, sometimes even in the case of $1 million, right? They're the type of tokens I want to look at. If we look at Griffin, which is a great example of the past few months, we see that Griffin is now about $300 million market cap, right? Another project, we made over 100 Solana and I made about $23,000 on this specific token. If we zoom out on the 24 hours, we'll see that the token was dead. And then in the space of 42 days, about 1 month, it went up 1,200%. 1,200%, right? Do you know what people said down here about Griffin? Go and look at it. It's a farm, it's a scam, dev cheated, who's Totally, the products, they say all these things, but over time, when the prices up here, everyone's like, oh my God, I love Griffin, it's the future of technology. Like, you cannot allow price or time to dictate your conviction. It has to be what you actually invest into. If it's just the price, then trade the chart, get out when you're down 10, 20%, move on. If it's based on conviction, that's when you have to develop a certain level of mindset, skill, and actual conviction into like investments at the end of the day. Okay? So that's the way I like to go through BullX, use the platform, use my portfolio to trade with, and then I like to use that money to build out a position, to build that portfolio. But how are we going to trade the meme coins to actually make money? So one thing I like to do is I look at tokens which are brand new, which have just came out. I'll put it on the 5-second time frame, and I'll look for tokens which, number one, ain't doing this. I'll go through my due diligence. I'll look at whether I believe in it, whether I want to invest into it, whether it has a lot of volume. The volume, you can find it over here. And I'll buy and trade that volume. I'll only ever trade the volume with 20 to 100 times less whatever I've got. So if I've got 500 SOL, I can trade with 5 SOL. If I've got 50 SOL, I can trade with 0.5 SOL, for example, right? And that allows me to be able to trade 18-hour sessions, 19-hour sessions, and still not have big fluctuations in my overall portfolio. Next, right, I'll then make sure that while I'm opening a position in another chart, I'll find new tokens. Sometimes there's going to be lulls. Sometimes the tokens might be going up and down. Like, we can speak about this all day. But most of the time, we'll be in a position where we can look at the best tokens to trade. Now, speaking about that, let's actually go and let's have a look at some of my best tokens that I'm looking at right now that I'm interested in holding for the long term. So, if we go over to, let's say, my multi-chart, we'll see inside a multi-chart where we can see all the charts, I have a position called long-term holds. Now, from long-term holds, I can see a list of all the tokens I'm interested in looking at long-term. These are things like Trench AI, APY, H-Terminal, GNZ, which is GainZ, MLG, we'll see this token, I forgot the name, it's just because it were blank, CatG, and Flame. These are the tokens which I'm currently looking at. Now, all of these tokens right now are down. Why are they down? Well, because when you look at Solana, when you look at Bitcoin, when you look at Ethereum, when you look at the whole entire crypto market, the whole entire crypto market's down. So this gives us opportunity, because when the market goes up, the first things to bounce will be the meme coins, the altcoins, and the infrastructure projects, because people will have conviction again to buy them, and they'll be buying our bags. One of the best tokens that I'm interested in right now, no bias, right, is Trench AI. Trench AI is actually building an agent that trades meme coins for you. So if you don't have to worry about sniping, trading, managing multiple wallets, running your portfolio, going to work, not getting robbed, buying long-term investments, doing 18-hour sessions, you can simply log into Trench AI, one click of a button, and it's going to trade meme coins for you. It's not going to make you money magically out of thin air. You'll have to work with it, train it, program it, give it time, but it trades for you and it figures out problems as it goes. If you want to learn more about Trench AI, you can find a full video over here, and the link for Trench AI will be inside of the description. Another meme that I'm looking at, well, infrastructure project that I'm looking at, is Griffin. If you have a look at Griffin, Griffin is one of the biggest AI agent infrastructures, and it's one of the platforms which we are looking at building on top of. We're going to be adding so much value to Griffin because we're going to integrate all of the apps on top of them, and we're going to use that for API calls to power up the AI, which is going to be trading for you. Instead of having things which you click it and then it trades until it loses money and that's it, we're going to have the AI trade for you until it figures it out. So when it starts losing money, it changes its strategy. When it's making money, it doubles down on its winning strategy. And that's what makes Trench's AI unique, but also what makes Griffin unique is that it's interoperable across all on-chain agents and not just crypto. It's able to get you things like Baxos. I forget what Baxos is called. Well, Baxos is basically whiskey, right? It's able to produce meme coins. It's able to get you airdrops. It's able to do due diligence on whale watching and stuff like that. In my opinion, it's also going to be an e-commerce platform. I don't think a lot of people actually see this, but I come from an e-commerce background, and I know for a fact AI agents with e-commerce is going to be something which is going to take things to the next level. And when you want to make a website, when you want to run Facebook ads, where you want to do overall due diligence and scanning. I actually met the founders of UDROP, which are good friends of mine, and there was that guy. We've got so much data that we want to use, but we don't have time to actually analyze it. When you have agents that analyze that data and come back to you and give you the top 5 winning products, and then build the website for you, and then launch the Facebook ads for you, levels, right? Levels. But that's the reason why I like this platform, guys. Because all of these things we're able to see on Bullets. All of these things, you could have sieved through the BS at any time and had an equal and fair opportunity to buy this simply on the graduated section, right? Or even on the about to graduate section. All you had to do was dial in and trench. So, in this video, I've showed you how to trench meme coins, very basic, all the way to a pretty advanced tutorial on doing due diligence, buying tokens, and building a portfolio. If you want to learn more about meme coins, you want to learn about trading, leave a comment down below. Links for everything are inside the description. And for the stream guys that are watching this on stream, let me know what questions you guys have. Right? Let me know, for those of you guys that have watched this tutorial, what questions do you have about that? Are you able to build a portfolio now? Do you understand how to trade meme coins? Do you understand my filters, which everybody asks for every single day?